The ongoing clash between ICE agents and the people of Minnesota has just taken a key turn, and going forward, the entire cultural conversation about the role of ICE in our communities and the actions of the Trump administration, the whole conversation has changed. We have the details next, right here on The David Reddish Show. Welcome to Occupy Democrats Presents The David Reddish Show. Once again, if you haven't seen much of me on the channel recently, or if you just want to be one of the cool kids and stay informed along with getting a healthy dose of humor, make sure to subscribe to my new show channel now by following the link in the description. Not only will you stay up to date with the news via the Occupy Democrats network, you'll help me pay for groceries. And since Donald Trump's policies continue to make them more expensive, I need all the help I can get. So please, subscribe now and help get the word out. Now, let's turn back to the state of Minnesota and the ongoing protests and ICE brutality that have engulfed Minneapolis. ICE Barbie and Secretary of Homeland Security and Mar-a-Lago face model Kristi Noem continues to flood the city with more masked ICE agents, while the people of Minneapolis continue to peacefully protest and to grow ever more frustrated with the situation. Here's an update.
ICE out now!
U.S. postal workers were among those marching to protest federal immigration officers Sunday.
We are fighting. We are resisting. We don't think this is right, and we are standing up to say no.
A day earlier, we were there as anti- and pro-ICE demonstrators clashed in the streets, including far-right organizer Jake Lang, a pardoned January 6th defendant.
Why are you out here today?
The replacement of white Americans by Somalians in Minnesota is a tragedy.
Over the weekend, the Minnesota National Guard said troops have been mobilized and put on standby to help keep the peace if necessary at Governor Tim Walz's direction. Multiple sources tell CBS News the Justice Department is now investigating Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey over an alleged conspiracy to impede federal immigration agents.
We are at a place right now where the Department of Justice or the federal government could be coming after senators and governors and mayors simply for speaking for their respective constituencies and disagreeing with this federal administration. I mean, this kind of thing happens in other countries. This cannot happen in America.
So, in short, the situation has not improved, at least not in terms of the situation on the ground. But this new breaking story portends that is about to change. Stay with me. One of the major talking points from Kristi Noem, the woman who inspired the film The Substance, is that the people of Minnesota, including Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, that the people just need to stay out of the way and let law enforcement do its job. But there's a problem with that. ICE is not traditional law enforcement, nor do they have any real training to that effect. These are customs inspectors, not authorized or trained to get warrants, conduct investigations, make real arrests, bring charges, manage crowds, or do much of anything beyond snatching people off the street. And now it looks like ICE has made a snatch too far. Earlier today, Police Chief Mark Bruley of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, that's a northern suburb of the Twin Cities, Police Chief Bruley gave a shocking press conference in which he condemned the actions of ICE officers, addressed the ongoing concerns of Minnesotans, and dropped a major bombshell. ICE agents are now actually targeting law enforcement itself. Take a look.
Recently, as the last 2 weeks, we, as law enforcement community, have been receiving endless complaints about civil rights violations in our streets from U.S. citizens. What we're hearing is they're being stopped in traffic stops or on the street with no cause and being forced to demand paperwork to determine if they are here legally. As this went on over the past 2 weeks, we started hearing from our police officers the same complaints as they fell victim to this while off duty. Every one of these individuals is a person of color who has had this happen to them. In Brooklyn Park, one particular officer that shared her story with me was stopped as she passed ICE going down the roadway. When they boxed her in, they demanded her paperwork, of which she's a U.S. citizen and clearly would not have any paperwork. When she became concerned about the rhetoric and the way she was being treated, she pulled out her phone In an attempt to record the incident, the phone was knocked out of her hands, prevented her from recording it. The officer had their guns drawn during this interaction. And after the officer became so concerned, they were forced to identify themselves as a Brooklyn Park police officer in hopes of slowing the incident and de-escalating the incident down. The agents then immediately left after hearing this, making no other comments, no other apologies, just got in their vehicles and left. I wish I could tell you that this was an isolated incident. In fact, many of the chiefs standing behind me have similar incidents with their off-duty officers. This isn't just important because it happened to off-duty police officers, but what it did do is we know that our officers know what the Constitution is, they know what right and wrong is, and they know when people are being targeted, and that's what they were. If it is happening to our officers, it pains me to think of how many of our community members are falling victim to this every day.
And there it is. Not only is ICE racially targeting people in Minnesota, they are actively targeting police officers, trying to intimidate them and demanding to see their papers. Once again, that's illegal via the Fourth Amendment. Americans are not required to carry proof of ID or proof of citizenship, nor do they need to present it to masked stormtroopers on our streets. But more importantly, Chief Bruley also revealed what's really going on here. This is an attempt by Donald Trump, no doubt at the urging of his Spectrum Nazi vampire advisor Stephen Miller, to militarize our cities, to take direct control from American citizens and turn our nation into a police state. Trump tried the same thing with the military last year in Los Angeles, but was shot down by the courts. This is his new strategy, and fortunately, people like Chief Bruley are calling him on it. This is not how American law enforcement works. ICE agents are not police, no matter what they or their vests say. The American citizenry does not answer to them. And make no mistake, this is not just an attack on everyday Americans. This is an attack on law enforcement itself. It's an attack on our police, our elected officials, and our very system of government, and it must not go further. The time has come for local law enforcement to stand with the rest of America and call for an end to this ICE terror. This country belongs to the American people, not to Stephen Miller, not to ICE, not to Kristi Noem, and not to Donald Trump. We will keep you updated on the state of things in Minnesota, so once again, please subscribe to our channel now by following the link in the description. I'm David Reddish.